Nobody is forcing you. No one is holding a gun to your head. You wake up on your own. You scroll on your own. You go to work on your own. You spend money on your own. At least that's what it feels like. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't live inside a prison. You live inside a design, a system so refined, so optimized, so psychologically precise that you call it freedom. That's the brilliance of it. They don't need to control you. They just design the environment that shapes your behavior. Because when the environment does the work, people regulate themselves. Most people think control looks like dictatorship. Guards, gates, chains. That's primitive control. Modern control is invisible. Modern control feels like choice. You can eat whatever you want, watch whatever you want, buy whatever you want, work wherever you want, but pay attention. Every option still leads back to the same destination: debt, distraction, dependence. That's not coincidence, that's architecture. They don't tell you what to do. They design the menu. They design education to create workers. They design social media to harvest attention. They design entertainment to drain energy. They design finance to keep you borrowing from your future. You think you're choosing icon, but you're choosing from a pre-approved list, like cattle walking through a beautifully decorated hallway. From childhood, the programming starts. Sit still, raise your hand, ask permission, follow instructions, do well in school, get a job, save a little, retire someday. Nobody ever teaches leverage. Nobody teaches ownership. Nobody teaches asymmetric advantage. They teach compliance. They teach patience. They teach waiting your turn. You weren't educated. You were standardized, turned into a predictable economic unit, a consumer with emotions, a worker with bills, a dreamer with just enough hope to keep showing up. That wasn't accidental. That was industrial design. School didn't prepare you for freedom. It prepared you for schedules. It taught you how to sit still for 8 hours, how to complete tasks, how to wait for permission, how to accept evaluation from authority. That's why most adults feel uncomfortable without structure. They were trained to need it. Here's the real trap. They don't keep you poor. They keep you busy. Busy enough that you never zoom out. Busy enough that you never question the structure. Busy enough that survival consumes your entire mental bandwidth. Commute, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. You don't fail because you're lazy. You fail because you're exhausted. You fail because your attention is fragmented. You fail because your nervous system is overloaded. And when someone is tired, they don't rebel, they comply. That's why distraction is everywhere. Endless feeds, endless notifications, endless content. Silence is dangerous to the system because silence creates awareness. Awareness creates questions. Questions create exits. So they keep you stimulated. They keep you entertained. They keep you reacting, never reflecting. Most people think the solution is harder work, more hours, more hustle, more grind. But effort inside the system only strengthens the system. Hard work without leverage just makes you a better cog. You don't escape by pushing harder. You escape by changing position. Workers trade time for money. Owners build systems that earn while they sleep. Creators build assets once and sell them forever. Employees get raises. Owners get scale. Leverage flips the equation. Digital leverage, audience leverage, product leverage. That's why faceless channels work. That's why digital products scale. That's why automated systems change lives. Not because they're easy, because they break the time for money loop. You can work hard for 40 years, or you can build something once that compounds for decades. That's the difference between effort and ownership. The system rewards effort just enough to keep you participating, but it only rewards ownership with freedom. There's a moment every person reaches, usually late at night, when the noise fades, when the distractions stop working, when you realize something feels off, you did everything right, but you're still stuck. You followed the rules, you showed up, you stayed consistent, and yet the progress feels painfully slow. That's not failure, that's awareness. That's the moment the fog lifts. Most people ignore it. They drown it with entertainment, they numb it with comfort, they scroll until the feeling goes away. But a few people listen, and those people start asking different questions, not how do I survive, but how do I exit? How do I build leverage? How do I stop renting my life? How do I own something that pays me back? That's when the game changes, because once you see the design, you can't unsee it. You start noticing patterns. You see how attention is monetized, how emotions are manipulated, how fear keeps people small, how comfort keeps people stuck. You realize nobody is coming to save you. There is no rescue. There is only strategy. That's exactly why I built the Money Logic Playbook. Not motivation, not hustle hype, actual systems, how digital leverage works, how faceless content creates income, how simple products beat paychecks, how attention becomes assets, how to step out of linear effort and into scalable systems. It's the map I wish I had before wasting years inside the loop. If this video made something click. The playbook is your next step. Link is in the description. Remember this, they don't control you, they design you. Your habits, your routines, your beliefs, your limits. But once you see the design, you can step outside it. Freedom isn't money, freedom is control, and control starts with awareness.